I think I'm gonna hurl. As you can probably guess from that reaction, I just watched the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie by Seth Rogen. Yes, Seth Rogen. The man responsible for this bastardization of a magical yearly holiday has again lifted his head above the swamp of iniquity that is Hollywood to spit in the faces of those that treasure this much-loved franchise. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Hero Turtles as the original cartoon was strangely renamed in the UK, was a juggernaut of epic proportions. From the comics to the toys, to the cartoons and movies, and computer games, it was everywhere. And it was awesome. The cartoon theme was catchy enough to stay stuck in your head for a lifetime, and I can even recite the lyrics from the 1990 movie song by Partners in Crime with a K, like fat with a PH, back when calling something fat was cool, whereas now you just think of this land whale. So don your rubber turtle suits, grab your nunchucks, and let's take a closer look at what passes for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in the age of the woke-tard. But before I get started, please consider subscribing as that would really help me out. And if you like this content, give it a like. Okay, on with the vid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Secrets of Woke Revisionism, or whatever the subheading was, is a disgusting perversion of the TMNT story. It changes everything except the fact that they are turtles and they live in the sewers. Even the fact that they love pizza doesn't get much of a look in. Back to my first point. It's okay, I'm okay. This movie grossed me out. The animation style is utterly hideous. It is like a nightmare vision of a world that is just not quite right. There was an episode of Red Dwarf in which Crichton makes a triplicator, a machine that made 3 copies of things, one original, one perfect and divine, and the other too grotesque to describe. Well, this animation came from the latter. It is truly hideous. In fact, I wouldn't take my children to see this movie because I would be worried about them having nightmares. The movie starts with some tech company trying to capture a mad scientist who has created a mutagen that he wants to use to create his own bizarre family, since he doesn't get on with other humans, and to this end he has mutated a fly, and plans to mutate some other creatures. But before he can finish his plan, he is attacked by the tech company. In the kerfuffle there is an explosion. It seems that the scientist is killed. Incidentally, there's a scene at this point in which the leader of the tech company's goons gets a facial injury. And I'm pretty sure that if this actually gets a sequel, we'll be getting a race-swapped Shredder. So there's something to look forward to. So back to the present, it's not hard to find. We meet the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And these are not the turtles we're used to. These are the TikTok turtles. They're an amalgamation of everything wrong with our current society. One of the first jokes is about how Splinter is a bigot for hating humans. Everything is very self-aware. It constantly references real-world things, especially TV shows. And the humour is painful at best, and reminds me that Seth Rogen has about the same level of maturity, sophistication and social complexity as a 2-year-old, only with a whole load of added intersectional insanity. In this version, Splinter is just a rat. Yes, he is slightly more intelligent than average, but he is just a rat. He didn't come from Japan. His owner was not a ninja master that had to flee Japan with his sweetheart to start a new life after killing his jealous friend. He is just a rat who happened to come across some turtles covered in mutagenic ooze. He gets the ooze on himself too, and they all mutate into larger, even more intelligent creatures. Splinter then looks after the growing turtles, and when they were preteens, he tried to show them the human world above the sewers, but it didn't go well, and they were chased and attacked. So Splinter decided to learn martial arts from old kung fu movies, and teach it to the turtles, so that they would be able to defend themselves against the evil, cruel humans. So there you go. No mysticism, no rat learning ninjutsu from his master Yoshi from inside his cage, no emotional backstory, no need for any kind of revenge. In fact, there is basically no recognizable Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story at all. It is just a story about some creatures that got mutagen on themselves and live in sewers. The turtle angle is purely for financial gain. This could have been about any mutant. It is only turtles for the brand recognition. It isn't for the story. There's no Foot Clan, there's no Shredder yet, and it won't be the Japanese leader of the New York Foot Clan Ninja Master Shredder if he does turn up in a sequel. This movie could easily have just been any old digitally animated modern cartoon. It has few ties to the TMNT world, except using the most base level versions of the characters. But I digress. So, Splinter teaches the turtles kung fu, and then tries to make sure they stay in the sewers, but the turtles are too young and adventurous. And one day when they were playing with throwing stars, one of them hits a girl in a motorcycle helmet. Can you guess who it is yet? If you guessed April O'Neil, that well-known news reporter, you'd be wrong, and yet also correct, because instead of the April we all know and love, this is a race-swapped, obese, far too young, can't keep her lunch down, waddles when she walks, woke April. Yes, she is nothing like the proper April, in any way, shape, especially shape, or form. She is just what you would expect from the man that decided that he doesn't want to work with white people anymore. The Turtles help April out by beating up some hoods. After becoming friends, April tells them that there is a whole load of strange thefts going on, and the one responsible is called Superfly. They hope to stop the thefts and have April report it to the world so that they can come up from their sewers and be normal teens and go to school and stuff. But it turns out that Superfly is the mutated fly created by the mad scientist that we met at the start of the movie. And he's taken a leaf out of the scientist's book and hates humans. So he plans to use the parts he stole to make a mutagen spreader that will turn every creature on Earth into mutants. He also has a whole bunch of other mutants working for him. So the Turtles try and stop him, but they get captured by the tech firm which wants to milk them for mutagen. The milking jokes are pretty disturbing, and certainly not suitable for children. Not to mention repeated way too much to seem even remotely funny. Splinter rescues the Turtles, and there is a massive fight with Superfly and his goons. But the goons don't really hate humans, and don't have the heart to support Superfly's plan, and so decide to help the Turtles defeat him. But after an accident with yet more ooze, Superfly turns into a gross version of King Kong and attacks New York. Luckily, the Turtles and their new friends work together with the humans to use an anti-mutagen formula to defeat Superfly. And now the Turtles are heroes, and can go to school. The end. God, that was painful. Not half as bad as watching it though. And I have a massive craving now to watch the original 1990 movie and exorcise this monstrosity from my mind. I would like to say that the voice acting was good, but it was mediocre at best. And I didn't even realise it was Jackie Chan doing the voice of Splinter. I just thought it was someone trying not to sound as though they were taking the piss out of the Chinese. And it didn't even make any sense because Splinter is a New Yorker. He should have had an appropriate accent and not sounded like some reject from a bad 70s kung fu movie. Sorry, Jackie. And I know Michelangelo is the youngest, but why did they make him half the size of the others? It just looked ridiculous. He's probably only a few seconds younger, not years. It was distracting and silly. This must be the worst Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. It has so little to do with the story that I can't even imagine what a sequel could look like, because there is no backstory. It's like cheap toilet paper. It's so thin, and from the state of this movie it was already used, which explains the nasty smell left over from watching this movie. I can't recommend you stay away vehemently enough. This movie makes Barbie seem like Shakespeare, and Barbie made The Room seem like Shakespeare.
Oh, hi, Mark.
If Oppenheimer had seen this movie, the atomic bomb would never have happened. He'd have been a gibbering idiot by the end of this. It was so dumbed down and half-wittedly stupid that I fear for the sanity of those that don't have my level of immunity from woke programming. Normal people should be warned that unless they want to be caring for their children for the rest of their lives, then they should stay away from this movie. It will stunt their intellectual growth. It will bring yet greater hardships to those that come after. It will make their children's children dumber from third-hand exposure. It will bring upon us a new dark age. Nothing will be written. People will have lost the use of pen and paper and be back to attempting to make fire by rubbing squirrels against trees. The wheel will be a long-forgotten memory as our descendants struggle with the concept of walking on two legs again. For the sake of our future, do not watch this movie. Do not let anyone you know, friends, family, relations, aliens living in your attic, anyone watch this movie. This has been Movie Suck, longing for the days when people like Seth Rogen were allowed to just follow Darwin's theory and go the way of the fucking dodo. Leave a like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.